Hello. How are we doing today? Da, da, da. Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody see me okay? Is everything good? Frody says hello. Hello to you too. Kiwi says hi. Hi to you too. Lavron says hi. Hi to you too. A lot of highs. But, Rambling Rattlesnake says first stream here. Well, welcome. I wonder if he's willing to cover fictional myths. That's my default answer to that is no. But it's we'll see. Howdy, Edgar. Hello, I am sus. Oh, I didn't know that. Are you immortal? I don't know. Only one way to find out. I mean, we'll see. Check back with me in maybe 60, 70 years. We'll see. Pop, how's it going? Oh, Yuki, no. Hey, Yuki. Nice to have you here. Yuki tunes into our Wednesday streams a lot. Nice to see you. Hey, how are you? I'm alive. OMG, hi. Hello to you too, Owen Smith. So for people, I see some people asking me how I am. I'm good. I slept in a little today because I had trouble sleeping last night, but I don't see any circles under my eyes, so I guess I got enough sleep. Who's your favorite Aztec god? I like Mictlantecuhtli. That one's probably my favorite one. I like him. I think he's really cool. You just reminded me I was downloading Blood of Zeus on Netflix. Oh, yeah, we did videos discussing that show a long time ago. They're on the channel if you want to hear what me, Zaggard, and the Struggling Alto all think of that. Did you write every myth in the world? I don't think I did. I mean, I'd have to check in with, if past lives are true, check in with Hinduism. Have I been reincarnating? I don't know. Do you like Space Jam? I haven't seen that since I was 6. I barely remember it, honestly. I'm thinking about rewatching it and checking out the new one. I hear the new one is not good though, so I don't know. What is something Hephaestus and Athena disagree on? Something they've fought about? Oh, well, that's a question with a very awkward answer. I'm pretty sure they disagree on who was the bad guy in that scenario where Hephaestus thought Athena liked him and he tried to bang her and she said no, but in the process his seed shot onto her thigh, which she then had to wipe off, which still grew into a child, which Athena then raised. I think that's a bit of a disagreement and something they've fought about. Starting off the stream with just a lovely topic. Are you excited for the next God of War? Of course, hell yeah. Could you react to Ebenezer Scrooge versus the Grinch? Because at the end, Krampus comes. Oh, okay. When you said Scrooge and the Grinch, I was like, I don't see how that's that Krampus? All right. I could check that out then, maybe. Yeah, possibly. How's your day going? I'm a little tired, but I'm excited for this. I love talking to you guys. Would you create your own mythology? If I created a fictional world like George R.R. Martin did, if I ever wrote a fantasy series or something like that, then I would create my own mythos in it. But I'm not going to start a cult if that's what you think. Cool t-shirt. Thank you. I like this shirt a lot. I've had this shirt for a long time, actually. I've had most of my shirts for a long time. Who is your favorite mythological trickster? Sun Wukong. I love him. He's one of my favorite gods. Who is the weakest Greek god? Oh god, there's some really weird gods. There's a god of mixed wine, and then there's a god of unmixed wine. I'm pretty sure those guys are some of the weakest ones. But we all know the most powerful Greek god is Diomedes, the Lord of Beans. You cannot beat the Lord of Beans, people. That guy is unstoppable. I'm going to try to answer questions as fast as I can. Like, okay, obviously I'm not going to rush, but I'm just going to do what I can here. If I miss your question and it's lost in the chat, just try asking it again. But please don't spam the chat with the same question over and over and over again, because if you do that, I am going to have to kick you. So please don't. That's a selfish and irritating thing to do. So please don't do that. I said earlier, I love your vids. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Who's your favorite child of Nyx? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Nyx has a lot of kids. I think Hypnos is a really funny god, literal god of sleep. But my favorite one is probably Thanatos. I like Thanatos. I think he's cool. You guys don't know he wrote all the myths? Jeez, pay attention more. Oh my god. What's your opinion on Artemis? She's badass. She's kind of a jerk sometimes, but so is every single Greek god. But yeah, I think she's kind of a badass. And I think it would be really cool if she got a little more media around her. I don't think she gets enough, honestly. I don't think she appears in enough movie. Is there any movie she's been in? Honestly, does anybody know of one? Because I can't think of. And I don't mean just in the background. I mean a movie where she's been a character. So yeah, I think Artemis is badass, kind of a jerk, but so is every Greek god. And I would like to see her more in media. Have you been in the Philippines? No, I haven't, but I really want to go. I'm hoping next time my partner Wilda goes, I can go with her. I think that'd be fun. Who's the funniest Greek god? Kiamides, the Lord of Beans. That guy is hilarious. What's the difference between Kronos and Kronos? Okay, that probably sounded ridiculous coming out of my mouth, but okay, so there's two different opinions on the whole Kronos with an H, with a CH, and Kronos with a K thing. Some people say that they're two different deities. Some people say they're the same deity. I prefer the whole they're the same deity idea, but it's two different interpretations. Some people say Kronos, the Titan, is the one with the K, King of the Titans, and the others say Kronos with a CHR, is the primordial deity of time. Now, I personally like to think they're both the same guy, because if they weren't the same guy, then what is Kronos the Titan even the Titan of? Every Titans are like gods. They still have a thing that they rule over as deities. Iapetus is the Titan of mortality, and Phoebe is the Titan of prophecy, and Koios is the Titan of the North and intelligence, and Creus is the Titan of constellations. So if you say Kronos is not the same as the deity of time, then what is Kronos the Titan even deity of? So that's something no one can ever answer for me when I propose that question. So I like to say they're the same thing. Are you going to put the game on Play Store? I don't know about Play Store, so I'm afraid I don't really have an answer for that yet. But when the game launches, it's going to be on Kickstarter, because that's the only way we could get enough money to launch it. Okay, I was in the middle of reading a question, so I'm going to make sure I read that. I love mythology. Ask me any question about Greek and I'll ace it. Okay, if Kronos is not the Titan of time, what's he the Titan of? There, that's your question. Kronos is the Titan of harvest. Oh, because he's got the sickle? All right, sure. Actually, a couple people are saying Titan of harvest. He's the Titan of cannibalism. Oh, that's hilarious. Who would win in a fight, Cuchulainn or Dirmoid? I think Cuchulainn would win that fight, honestly, in my opinion. Who would win, Odin or Ares? Oh, Odin. Odin for sure. Ares is really powerful, I'm sure, don't get me wrong. But I think Odin, not only is Odin, incredibly powerful, but he's also incredibly, wise and skilled in magic. So I think he's got Ares beat. What's your favorite mythology? Oh, everybody always asks that. My favorite has to default to Greek, because I've known it the longest, I know it the most, and it's what got me into mythology in the first place. So I always default to Greek on that subject. And then probably my second favorite is Japanese. I love how insane Japanese myth is. It's so much fun. What game? The card game that I'm making. If you want to learn more about it, you can check out the card game's website, which is in the description of this video, I'm sure. And you can also check out my video, the card game I'm making and why I'm making it. Hi from love from Nepal. Oh, thank you very much. Which Rick Riordan book is your favorite? Last Olympian. I love that that's just a battle book. Thank you for replying. You're welcome. Can you say more about the Indian god Shiva? Oh, well, yeah, what do you want me to say? He's one of the three main overall gods. Like Hindu gods have they have the devas, god hierarchy, where it's interesting. They have a thing like Olympus where they have a whole bunch of gods who are ruled by a god named Indra. But then, unlike Olympus, they actually have a hierarchy above those, the three big boys, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. And Shiva is the most powerful one, god of destruction. He could literally destroy the whole universe if he wanted to by dancing on it, which is really interesting. And, he's got some interesting things about him. He's got, the Hindu version of a trident, which is called a Trishula. And he's got a snake around his neck, I believe keeping poison from reaching his body, named Vasuki, who is also the king of snakes. So there's some fun facts about Shiva. Oh, and he has a third eye on his head. Cool. What's your favorite Hindu god? Kali. I love Kali. She's also the god of destruction in Hindu myth, but I love how she is. I love her attitude. I love how her symbols are like holding up the head of a dead demon. That's really cool. What do you think of the Abrahamic God? Well, I'm Catholic, so that should tell you what I think of that. Much love from Bulgaria. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Yeet Boy. That's awesome. Love from Portugal. Man, we got people all over the world. I love this. I love it so much. I have nothing to say, just want to be part of the comments. Well, welcome to the comments, Emily Chang. That's awesome. Did you read the Peculiar Children books? No, that's a series I haven't read. I saw the movie. I thought it was pretty good. Thanks, bro. Love from India. Yay! Do you know the king who tried to conquer death? Are you talking about Sisyphus? Because I do know about that, yeah. Who's your favorite Filipino god? I'm learning Filipino creatures. I'm still in the process of learning Filipino mythology. I don't know enough about their gods yet to give you a genuine answer to that. But I'm mainly learning about their monsters, and yeah, I will go into their gods. Oh, hey, gamer, Kakatranda Potato Salad Elf is here. You're great. Hail King Andrew. I'm not a king, you guys. I'm a guy making YouTube videos. But it's funny. What's that printer for? It's not mine. But I have used it actually for a couple of videos, like the video where I have not Athena written on a piece of paper on my shirt. That printer printed that. Seriously, thank you. Aw, yay. Love from India again. Nice. Books are so much better. I'll bet. Yeah, the Peculiar Children, I assume you're talking about. Who would win, the Greek god Chaos or Christian god? Okay, as a Catholic, that's kind of for me, I'm always going to default to the Christian god, obviously, because I actually believe in that one. And, he's supposed to be omnipotent and omniscient, so, Who's the most powerful god in Japanese mythology? Oh, that's an interesting one. Now, I personally think that Susanoo is more powerful than Amaterasu, because if he wasn't, then why would Amaterasu, run away from him in fear? She'd probably, while he was throwing a tantrum, just bam, get out of my area. But I also think Izanagi is more powerful than Susanoo, because Izanagi punished Susanoo, and if Susanoo was more powerful than Izanagi, I don't think he would take that. So I'm going to say I think Izanagi is the most powerful, maybe, in Japanese myth. You're welcome to tell me your own theories. I have a Norse mythology pun for you to hear if you want to hear. I always want to hear puns, you guys. Puns are my life. Love from Nigeria. Thank you so much. I bet you that Loki could trick a Tikbalong. I'll bet you're right. You know, the literal god of mischief. I don't think a Tikbalong could stand up to that. Should LOL win Myth Hades versus DC Hades? I'm not entirely sure what you're saying. I guess you're saying the two Hadeses. I think the Myth one would win. Do you think Zeus would have his towels labeled his and Hera's? Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. Would you do a video on voodoo gods like Baron Samedi? Yeah, definitely. But I don't know much voodoo yet. That's still a thing I have to study. Like, you guys like flatter me with how much you think I know, but I don't know everything. Yeah, I'm still studying myth books. I'm still buying myth books all the time. I recently bought one on a Native American tribe that I'm studying a little more on, and I'm really happy to have that. Could you give a rundown on the names of the days of the week? Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? That would probably be a lot more fun if I did like a fun fact video about that. But just a little hint on that. Some of the days of the week are based on Norse gods. And I think at least one of them is based on a certain Roman god. So I'll do a video on that. And then I think you'll be happier if I do that. Who would win, DC Ares or Myth Ares? I mean, DC Ares is based on Myth Ares. I guess the Hades one was too. I'm not sure. Probably. I'm just gonna say Myth Ares. You know. I mean, unless we're talking about the one in the Wonder Woman movie, because that one was for some reason more powerful than Zeus, which doesn't make any sense, but okay. We learned that a God of War question. I'm not going to spoil this. Given what we learn at the end of the game, we know that in Norse mythology, Loki is the father of certain characters. How would that character be the father of the world serpent? They actually address that in the game. Mimir says the world serpent actually fell back through time. So in the God of War timeline, he actually hasn't even been born yet. So that's how. The mythology guy doesn't know everything about any given mythology. How is that possible? Oh, God. Who would win, a Capre or a Wendigo? Oh, you're going to piss people off by writing that and making me say that. Every time I say Wendigo in my video, everyone's like, you're not supposed to say its name or write its name or even think its name. It's like, then how am I supposed to tell people about it? Like, how do you spread the word about these characters if you're not supposed to say anything about them? Like, and also I'm not dead. It's been over a year since I first did a video about that. I'm okay. Okay, so who would win, a Capre or a Wendigo? Well, have we ever seen a Capre fight anybody? Like, they're usually just up in their trees smoking, right? Let's see, a Wendigo is like a bony creature that eats human flesh. A Capre is a giant. So I think the Capre would probably just step on the Wendigo. So I'm just going to say the Capre, I think, would win that one. Who do you think would win, Hindu gods or Greek gods? I think that depends on if the Greek gods have the primordials on their side. Because if the Greek gods don't have the primordials, I think the Hindu gods would win because Shiva would take them out. But if the Greek gods have the primordials, then I think Chaos versus Shiva. It's like, we don't know who would win that fight. What are your thoughts on Talos? I mean, you know, the giant robot built by Festus that guards Minos' island. I think he's cool, and I think he also could use more attention. I mean, there's so much you can do with with a giant robot in Greek mythology. Greek mythology has literal robots in it. I always thought that was amazing. Okay, I give up on the question. Still love your vids. Oh, what were you asking? Just try again. I'll try to answer it. Love from New Jersey. Great. Could Odin beat Typhon? I don't think so. I think he'd need help from the other Norse gods. Hey, can you tell us more about Norse mythology? I was wondering if you could tell us a fact about the gods in Norse mythology. Okay, here's a fun fact for anyone who doesn't know. Norse mythological gods actually are divided into three categories. There's the Aesir, who are the gods of war, and then there's the Vanir, who are the gods of nature and have their own realm, and then there are the Jotun deities, the characters who are like part god, part giant. And actually, the Aesir and the Vanir went to war with each other and then made peace, and then the Aesir built a wall. So there's something for you. I do a lot of Norse mythology videos, so hopefully you enjoy those. Love your vids. What do you think of a story concept of Greek gods living a mafia lifestyle? I love that. Also, I'm glad you like my vids, but that sounds amazing. I would love the hell out of that. Would Hades be more powerful than Zeus? No, he wouldn't be. I'm sure he was the first sun. Well, yeah, Hades is the oldest, but that doesn't make him the most powerful. Just like, actually, in Greek mythology, it's kind of a theme for the youngest to be most powerful. Kronos was the youngest of the Titans, but he was the most powerful. Zeus is the youngest of the gods, but he is the most powerful. Who's the most inaccurate god in God of War? Hades. I mean, have you seen Hades in God of War? I think he looks awesome, but it's so inaccurate. Also, Persephone is very inaccurate in God of War. I would say those are the two most inaccurate. Do you think there's any god from any mythology who's too overpowered? I mean, no, because I think that's what, gods are supposed to be. They're supposed to be, the most powerful beings. All right, why is Ma'at the strongest Egyptian god, and how? Oh, well, Ma'at is the primordial, that's why. Ma'at is the primordial god of order in Egyptian myth, and Ma'at is to Egyptian myth kind of like what the Christian god is. It's just the, end-all, be-all in Egyptian mythology, and, it was the first being, I believe. So that's why Ma'at is the most powerful. Have you played Asura's Wrath? No, I have not yet, but I will eventually maybe stream that. What if Odin's son changed the Whoa, where did that go? What if Odin's son changed the prophecy that Odin couldn't change? Well, which son are you talking about? He has so many kids. Okay, I'm going to try to... Actually, does Russian have gods? Yes, it's called Slavic mythology. Check it out. They have gods like Perun and Veles and Chernobog. Can you rank the Olympians by their horrible acts? Oh, dear God in heaven. Okay, I'll get back to that one in a second. Let me just power through here. Who would win, 5 Wendigos or a Minotaur? I think the Wendigos would win that. Do you think Hephaestus would rise to prominence given humanity's technical advancement? Actually, yeah, I think that would make Hephaestus way more powerful. If you get one wish from Zeus, what would it be? For my game to be successful? I want to be a game developer, if that's one thing I really want to do. Which gods from different mythologies do you think would be good friends? I think Sun Wukong and Hanuman would get along really well. What's your opinion on the fact that in Marvel Comics, Ares is not a full-time villain and has even been a member of the Avengers a couple of times? I love it, honestly. There's nothing wrong with that. Ares isn't a villain in Greek mythology. He's just kind of an ass. But he's not a villain. He's never been a villain in Greek mythology. I did a video on that, actually, called Ares is Fed Up. What would happen if a Baku encountered a Nue? I'm sure they probably have. They're both from the same mythology, but I think the Nue would win that fight. In Israel, get drunk on a Thursday. Why? Because they need to get hammered. Oh, I think I see what you're saying there. Okay. What are the 9 worlds in Norse myth? Okay. The 9 realms. We've got Asgard, where the Aesir, the war gods, live. Then we've got Midgard, where the humans live. Then we've got Alfheim, where the elves live. Then we've got Nidavellir, where the dwarves live. And part of Nidavellir is also Svartalfheim, where the dark elves live. Okay, that's Asgard, Midgard, Alfheim, Nidavellir. That's 4 of the 9 realms. Then we've got Helheim, the underworld in Norse mythology. That's 5 of the 9 realms. Then we've got Vanaheim, where the nature gods live. Then we've got Jotunheim, where the giants live. Then we've got, what's it called? Niflheim, the ice realm. And then the final realm, Muspelheim, the fire realm. Those are the 9 realms in Norse mythology. Okay. Who would win in a fight, Thor or Zeus? Ooh, that's kind of a hard one, actually. If Thor has his hammer, he'd probably win. Without his hammer, I think Zeus would win. Plot twist, Loki is the real father of the centaurs and mother of the horse is Poseidon. Oh my god. The father of the centaurs in Greek mythology is Ixion, the guy who tried to force himself on Hera. Does the Leviathan axe exist in actual Norse mythology? No, I don't think so. No. I've never come across anything like that in Norse mythology. Just like the Blades of Chaos aren't in Greek mythology. Is there some being that could possibly use Yggdrasil as a Christmas tree? I think Ymir could. Yeah, Ymir could definitely do that. All right, so a while ago I was asked to rank the gods by their evilness. That's a little hard because it's a little subjective. But some of the most evil Greek gods are... one of them is Zeus because he's constantly going, do you ever get tired of all the who would win questions? If people want to hear it, they want to hear it. But he does go around forcing himself on people a lot, and that's no good. And then there's also Hera, who, while yes, Hera's a kind of a victim of Zeus and some other circumstances, she is still handling it in an evil way, going around punishing innocent women. That's not good either. Also, there's Aphrodite for some of the crazy, horrible stuff she does to people. And yeah, I would say those 3 out of the Olympians are probably the most evil. But they're still not evil entirely. They still do good things occasionally. Yeah. And I would say the nicest Greek god is Hestia. So she's number 1 niceness, and then those 3 are the bottom 3. Didn't Zeus turn into a literal goose and ruin a woman's life? Oh, you're gonna have... he turned into a swan and did that. I don't know if he ever turned into a goose. I don't think he did. Who's your favorite Greek god overall? Hades. People are always asking that. Have you watched Record of Ragnarok? What was your favorite fight? Okay, I did watch Record of Ragnarok, and I did a whole video discussing it. So if you want to hear my thoughts on it, you can go over there. My favorite fight was the Adam fight. I hated the first fight, though. Hey, Mythology Guy, have you heard of Cthulhu? Of course, who hasn't? I've been wondering for a long time, and I think it's a good time to ask you. Yeah, I know about Cthulhu. I've read Call of Cthulhu. It's not called. I've read his story. It was several years ago, though. I haven't read all of Lovecraft's stuff, and I haven't played the Cthulhu game yet. But yeah, I know about Cthulhu. What goddess would make the best waifu? I personally would think Hestia would be the best wife. I know waifu is a little different, but if I was going to marry one goddess, I think Hestia would be just lovely. Have you heard of the Baha'i faith? I've heard the name, but I know nothing about it. Does Russian mythology have an all-father? I'm sure they do. I actually don't know. Tell me about how Poseidon, insert R word, a woman, and the woman is Medusa, I think. Okay, yeah, there's versions of the Medusa story where Poseidon forced himself on her in Athena's temple, and Athena got mad at Medusa for defiling the temple and punished her by turning her into a monster. Now, the earlier version of that story is actually that Medusa seduced Poseidon in that temple. And yeah, and then the even earlier version of that story is that Medusa was always a monster. So yeah, people keep changing the story. Ovid was the one who made Poseidon the villain because Ovid wanted to demonize all the Greek gods. And people keep forgetting about that. Loki, I'm going to bang that horse. Please don't bang that horse. No, I'm going to bang that horse. No, damn it, Loki. I did some videos about Loki banging that horse. I found this theory I found funny. I found this theory that when Loki mothered Sleipnir, Zeus was the father. That, I could see that because Zeus turns into animals to bang stuff. Do you know any Australian mythology? Yeah, a little bit. I did a video called Rick and Morty in Australia where they encounter Australian mythical creatures. So, yeah, that's some of my Australian myth knowledge. Hey, man, really love your content. Out of all the mythologies, which is your favorite? Okay, I answered this a little earlier. Greek, and second favorite is Japanese. But I love all of them so much. It's really hard for me to pick favorites. Have you ever played Smite? What's your opinion on it? Yes, I did used to play Smite. I tried really hard to get into it because, it sounds like exactly my thing, but I don't like MOBA gameplay. I hated the gameplay, and I hated that there wasn't a single player story mode to have fun with. I like that. I like to have fun in a story mode, and it was just a multiplayer only game with gameplay I didn't like, so I stopped playing it. Really love your content. Okay, I already answered that. Have you read the Witcher books? No, I haven't, but I have Witcher 3, and I plan to play it soon. And I watched the series, so there's that. Do you know the myth of Sakuna? Talking about the real Sakuna, not the anime one. I am afraid I haven't read that story yet. Sorry about that. What is the story of Oedipus? Oh, dear God. Oedipus is the story of a boy who, when he was born... Oh, wait, let me read this first. Dude, I absolutely love your videos. Keep up the great work. Never stop doing what you love. Follow your dreams. Oh, thank you, Sean. Okay, so Oedipus, when he was born, there was a prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his mother. And his father, when he heard that, said no way and dumped him in the woods. Oedipus, however, survived, was raised by a different family. And so when he grew up, he ran into his father on the road, got into a fight with him, not knowing it was his real father, and killed him. And then he went to a kingdom later and met his biological mother, not knowing it was his biological mother, and married her, and later found out everything and gouged out his own eyes. That's the lovely story of Oedipus. Please suggest a book compilation of mythologies. Check out the Amazon link in the store. It's got all the books I recommend. I wonder if Hephaestus uses prosthetics. I honestly picture him with steampunk-style technology. I don't think he uses prosthetics because he's not missing any body parts. He's just crippled. Yeah, he's just crippled. He's not missing body parts, so I don't think he uses prosthetics. He does, have two automatons that help him get around his lab. Who's your favorite boss in the God of War series? Ooh, the Valkyries. I love those boss fights. But another really awesome one is Poseidon. I thought that was probably the coolest boss fight in God of War. Who the F are the Elder Titans? I've never heard. I don't think those are a thing. Have you heard of Overly Sarcastic Productions or seen any of their videos? Yes, I have. I used to watch some of their videos for research purposes, and they are fantastic. I love them. But I haven't binged all their stuff. I've just seen the occasional video here and there, but they're great. They're great. I don't get why Zeus turns into animals to seduce people. Could you please elaborate? The best reason I can think of is he's doing it so Hera doesn't know he's doing it. That's what I think. Yeah. And in the case of when he turned into a golden shower, he did it so he could get into the jail cell where the girl was. Even though he's Zeus, you'd think he could just teleport in there, but I guess he can't. Yeah, but he does it in order to be in disguise so Hera won't know it's him, even though she always knows it's him, so it doesn't really matter. Thoughts on Disney's Hercules? It's my favorite Disney movie. I love the hell out of it. It's not accurate at all, but I love it. It's so much fun. Most annoying enemies in God of War? What, the whole franchise? I don't know. Oh, the freaking Revenants in God of War 4. I hate them. I hate them. Those are the most annoying enemies. How did Kronos get Zeus's mother Rhea pregnant? By sleeping with her. He's Zeus's father. And Rhea was his wife. So yeah, that's how. Have you read the Water Fire Saga series? There's a mythology within it. Be interesting to see other people talk about different theories. I have not. I don't know that series. I'm sorry. Which show, movie, or anime got mythology right? None of them. None that I've ever seen. Oh, except there is a Mahabharat movie. That one gets it right. Okay, so that's it. There, the movie about the Mahabharat. It's the animation's very dated, but it at least does the myth correctly. I wonder what the Greek gods would think of our modern technology, like internet and nukes. I think they would love the internet. All right, last question. Do you know the Torment of Tantalus? Is that a like new original book about Tantalus? Because I know Tantalus's story, but I don't think I know that. So sorry about that. The Torment of Tantalus. Interesting. Is that a video or a show, or is that a book? I don't know what that is. The real Phobos and Deimos is Jean-Paul Marat and Maximilien Robespierre in the French Revolution. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Do you think Kratos could go toe-to-toe with Thanos? The freaking chat just suddenly jumped way down. But if Thanos didn't have the Infinity Gauntlet, yeah. If he does, no. Who else thinks Hestia should be in charge of Olympus? I don't think Hestia is a leader. That's the thing. Like, she's awesome, but I don't think she even has any interest in ruling. Don't you get tired of the who would win questions? I answered that earlier. It's like, yeah. Oh, the chat just jumped way down again. Okay. How accurate is Percy Jackson? My guess is 6 out of 10. I'd say more like 9 out of 10, actually. Like, I have yet to come across the way an ancient tale is recounted in Percy Jackson that isn't correct. Like, what's inaccurate in Percy Jackson? People keep saying, oh, it's not very accurate. How is it not accurate? Obviously, it's a modernized story, so that stuff is new and not even claiming to be accurate. But when they reference the old stuff, I think it's always accurate. Like, I don't understand what people think is inaccurate. Any Islamic mythologies? I did a video on Turkish myth a while back. Is that Islamic? I don't know. Which mythology do you think would make the best horror movie? Okay, either Japanese or Filipino. I think those would make the best horror movies. Have you played Asura's Wrath? I answered that earlier. No, I have not. Who would win, Adam or Kratos? Are you talking about Adam from Record of Ragnarok? Probably Kratos, since, Kratos. I'm not going to spoil what happens in Record of Ragnarok, but Kratos has beat a significant opponent that Adam didn't. So, yeah. What do you think about God of War? Is it accurate? No. God of War 4 does a great job, but the other God of War games aren't even close to accurate. They're not trying to be, so it's fine. Hey to you too, Milky. What would happen if Fenrir wasn't chained up and fought with the gods instead? I don't think he would have. He was always fated to fight on the side of evil. And here's the thing, if they didn't chain Fenrir up, I think he still would have sided with evil, because Loki ended up on the side of evil, and Loki is his father. So I think Fenrir would have still gone to the side of evil. Who is the weakest god in your opinion? Okay, as I said earlier, there are gods of mixed wine and unmixed wine in Greek mythology, so I'm going to go with those. Have you played the Darksiders games? I have started playing the first one. I haven't finished it. Who would win in a fight, Adam or Kratos? I already answered that. I'm not going to answer questions I've already answered. In Slavic mythology, what are some fun facts you know about? Well, one fun fact is it's very similar to Norse mythology in a lot of ways. And I think that's because the two cultures influenced each other. Both cultures have a world tree. Perun is very similar to Thor. Veles has some similarities to Loki. Also, Slavic mythology is where Chernobog comes from. And Chernobog is used in Disney, like Night on Bald Mountain. Even though I'm pretty sure it was originally just supposed to be the devil, but they ended up just calling it Chernobog. So there's a couple of things for you. How did humans in Record of Ragnarok stand a chance while fighting the gods? I thought the same thing, but these aren't regular humans. These are anime humans who have like ridiculous powers and abilities and shit. And they have like the greatest warriors of all time going up against the gods. So yeah, okay. Like you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit. What's a dream fight you have between a mixed mythology? I'd love to just see the Greek gods battle the Norse gods. That just in general, like, I think would be amazing. Is Thanatos the actual hand of death in the Greek pantheon, or are there some other gods who represent death? Well, Thanatos is death itself. So yeah, basically. And then there are other gods of certain things, but Thanatos is death. Like, he's the main one. While technology doesn't really matter with the gods, what level of technology would the Norse and Greek gods be at? Classical, medieval? I don't know. It's before medieval. So yeah, it's not medieval. It's earlier than that. Who would win in a fight, Heracles or Cuchulainn? I think Heracles would win that fight. Cuchulainn is amazing, but Heracles is not only, I believe, stronger than Cuchulainn, but also has the Nemean lion skin. So yeah, like, I think that one goes to Heracles, especially if we're talking Heracles after he ascended to godhood. But some people think Cuchulainn is like a avatar or whatever of Lu of the Long Arm, and I think Lu could defeat Heracles. So I guess it depends on the circumstances. How many mythologies are you familiar with? I'm pretty fluent in 8 different mythologies: Greek, Egyptian, Norse, Mesoamerican, Chinese, Japanese, Hindu, and Celtic. And I'm partial in Native American, Polynesian, Filipino, Slavic, Arabian, and like others. I don't know, but those are just the ones that come to mind. Odin's father was Ymir in a weird way. Yeah, he was. What's your opinion on Morgan Le Fay? She's a cool villain in the Arthurian legends. I think Morgan Le Fay is pretty cool. I always thought it was weird that she was a good guy in the Magic Treehouse series. Is Roman mythology the same as Greek mythology, or is it the same thing but some parts are changed? Okay, so Roman mythology is almost the same as Greek, but they did change some things. They do have some original gods, and they changed the personalities of the gods, and they have a couple of different creatures and stories and stuff. So, there. Who would win, Odin or Nyx? Oh, God. A lot of who would win questions. I think Nyx would win that fight. Zeus is afraid of Nyx to the point where he doesn't even want to fight her. So I think Nyx would defeat Odin. Which god is closest to your personality? I've been told Hermes. So yeah, and that's probably true. Probably Hermes. I would love to hang out with Hermes or Dionysus. I think that would be a lot of fun. I like to think those two hang out. Are stories of mortals becoming gods rare or common? Well, the stories, there aren't a ton of the stories themselves, but they are popular stories. So in terms of the amount of them, I would say kind of rare. But in terms of like the popularity of them, I guess you could say common. It's hard to say. But there aren't that many stories of mortals becoming gods, but they do exist, and they're inspiring tales. I think I've seen that happen the most often in Greek mythology, mortals becoming gods. Which is better, Odyssey or Iliad? I think the Odyssey is cooler. If you had to live in a mythology, which mythology would you live in? Probably Hindu, because that's probably one of the only mythologies where the gods aren't just coming down and fucking everything up for everybody. They're actually helping people. Which time would you rather live in? The Old West or Greek times or etc. I live in now, because now we have video games and I am addicted to those. And we have Legos. I like this time. I wouldn't want to go back in time. I mean, I wouldn't want to live back in time. Out of all mythologies, which one is the most metal? Probably Aztec. Aztec is pretty goddamn metal. What's your favorite Norse book? I really like the Dowlari's book and the Neil Gaiman book. The Neil Gaiman book is a really good one for beginners. Are there any gods or goddesses of creation or destruction? Oh, hell yeah. All over the place. In Chinese mythology, we've got Fuxi and Nuwa. Those are both gods of creation. In Hindu mythology, we've got both Shiva and Kali as gods of destruction. And, you know, it goes on and on. In Egyptian mythology, we have Ptah. He's a god of creation. And who else is there? I think Coatlicue from Aztec mythology is also a goddess of creation. She's also an earth goddess. Sorry, my nose is itching like a motherfucker. But yeah, the point is, yes, there are several gods of creation and gods of destruction, and I've listed some for you, so there you go. Is Hades really worse than Zeus? No! Who's telling you that? If you could have the powers of any god, who would it be? Sun Wukong, definitely. I want those powers. Okay. What are your... Well, okay, they're that one. What are your thoughts on Rick Riordan's mythology books? I love them. Favorite book series. Favorite book series in general. I absolutely love Rick Riordan's books. Are there gods of being gay? I'm sure there's one in Greek myth, but I don't know. Do you read Percy Jackson, as I just said a second ago? Yes, I do, and Last Olympian is my favorite one. Sorry if this has been asked before and I just missed it. What's your favorite Egyptian god? Favorite Egyptian god is Anubis. And no, you're the first one to ask in here that I've seen. But yeah, favorite is Anubis. I think he's really cool. Do you think Zeus simps girls on stream if he was alive in the present? No, I think he would just pop up at their houses and do what he wanted with them. That's what Zeus does. What is your least favorite mythology? Scientology, definitely. Books to learn Greek and Norse, check out the Amazon link in the description. What if Kratos didn't kill his family? Then we'd have no franchise. Actually, then the franchise would be different because he'd probably still be loyal to Ares, and he probably would have helped Ares take over Olympus. Actually, that would be a cool alternate reality to see. What Greek god do you think would be the god of outer space? Probably Uranus, you know, because he's the primordial deity of the sky. And so I could see that extending to being the god of outer space, you know? Also maybe chaos. Out of all of your vines, they're not vines, but I did used to make vines before they shut that down. I'm guessing you mean out of all of your videos, which one is your favorite? Now, that is a very hard question to answer. I can tell you some of my favorites. I'm really proud of my video, Ixion's Crime. I think that one came out really well. I also really like my video, A Leaked Tape of Gaia and Uranus. I think that one came out really well, too. I like my Filipino creatures series. I thought I had a lot of fun making those videos. So those are some of my favorites too. I like your hair, but is it annoying? It is annoying, but I like it too. You know, it keeps moving around. It's got a mind of its own. Has Hera ever cheated on Zeus? No, she hasn't. That's it goes against everything she believes in. What's your favorite rank of angel? Like Ophanium, Archangels. I don't really have a favorite rank of angel. I haven't like I know a little bit about the angels, like, you know, Azrael and stuff, but but I haven't really gone into their deep lore, so I don't think I can give you a proper answer to that. Did you know that Godzilla fought God? Oh, jeez Louise. As a huge Godzilla fan, I'm surprised I did not know that. I'm sorry if my chair is creaking, by the way. I'm not doing that on purpose. Are there any Egyptian mythological creatures besides Apophis and Anut? Oh yeah, there's the 7 scorpions, there's the sphinxes, the cryosphinxes, the hyracosphinxes, there's the serpopards, There's the Bennu birds. I mean, check out like the Egyptian creatures we've got on our Instagram page. Like, there's a link to that in the description. Like, yeah, or look at the art lore videos or whatever. Okay. Can you do a video about Hera and Zeus going to court? Actually, that's a funny idea. I like that idea. I might do that. Hades versus Hell, who would win? I think Hades would win because Hades. People forget Hades is a warrior. He fought in the Titan War. I don't know that Hell has ever fought anybody, so I think Hades would win that fight. If you could be the god of anything, what would it be? Also, what powers would you have, and any specific sacrifices you'd want at your altars? Okay, I've answered this in past streams, but not this one, so I'll answer it. I would want to be the god of fun, like having a good time. I would want to be a god who comes down to people who are all stressed out or depressed and makes them happy. I'd want to like throw people parties or like, you know, like give people like what they've wanted or what they've been waiting for or looking forward to. If I demanded sacrifices, I'd be like, pizza, root beer, send it my way. That would be my sacrifice. You have to send me some good food. That would be what I'd want as a sacrifice. That's a good question about Medusa. Do the curtains match the drapes? I think you mean, does the carpet match the drapes? Yeah, I did a video about that. Do you know any ancient languages? No, I don't even, I like to say I'm not even done learning English. Like, you know, I know enough English to get by, but I am too dumb to learn another language. I've tried several times and I just can't handle it. I'm not as smart as you guys think I am. Do you think the Greek and Norse gods would be Bronze Age technology? I think it would fit the Greek gods given the Trojan War, Mycenaean era. Actually, yeah. And in Greek mythology, they are literally in the Bronze Age because Greek mythology has a Golden Age, a Silver Age, and a Bronze Age. So you're actually right on multiple levels. 2 questions. How long does it take for a single card to be made for your new card game? Do multiple people work on one card, or do you only have one per card? Okay, here's how I made I mapped out every single card for the game. I planned out what character each card is. I planned out how their abilities work, what race they'll be, what type they'll be, how much power they'll have, and how they're going to function in the game. Sometimes I've had input from my partner, who's been very helpful. Sometimes I've had input from my friends. Sometimes I've had input from my brother when I'm low on ideas because I've made 1,000 freaking cards for this game. That's how planning the card goes. And then for the art, we have like each image is done by either one artist or 2. And here's how it's done by 2. Sometimes we've had an artist do an image and they've done a really good design, but we felt like the quality wasn't high enough. So we had another artist like touch it up and polish it. Now, and then there's the template around the image. We had an artist do all the templates. So you could say it takes 2 or 3 artists to complete each card. But actually, we're having some minor touch-ups done on the templates. So I guess you could say it takes 3 or 4. Like, but it's a lot of work to get these cards done. Are there any omnipotent Norse gods? Not that I know of, honestly. You're welcome to tell me if I'm wrong. Thor versus... I already answered that. Video idea. How about 2021 tier list of all the mythology gods? Oh, God, that'd be a 6-week-long video. I already answered the Thor versus Zeus thing. Books to learn Greek. Click the Amazon link in the description, you guys. In the description of all my videos, there's an Amazon link with all the myth books I recommend. Fenrir versus Cerberus. Well, Cerberus has 3 heads, but Fenrir defeated Odin. So I guess I'd say Fenrir would win that fight. Do you know anything about the Japanese emperor being a descendant of the sun god? Yeah, you're talking about Emperor Jimmu. Yeah, Emperor Jimmu supposedly descended from Amaterasu, but also supposedly descended from Susanoo. Obviously, Amaterasu and Susanoo didn't, because they're brother and sister, but I'm guessing they each had kids. like that. Yeah, Emperor Jimmu is legendary for being the first proper emperor of Japan, and it is said that he was descended from Amaterasu and Susanoo. Pretty sure that's not true, but people also say Romulus and Remus were raised by a wolf. What great god do you think the domain of war technology like firearms, fighter jets, and nukes would be? Artemis, Hephaestus, or Ares? That's a good question. Now, given how Greek mythology handles aspects of war and stuff, here's how I think it would work. I think Hephaestus would be god of the technology. Ares would be the god of using the technology, and Artemis, like Ares, would be the god of the destruction that the technology causes, and Artemis would be the goddess of like using the technology. Like, I don't think Artemis would be the goddess of like nukes and fighter jets. Actually, she'd probably be more like a goddess of sniper usage. Ra versus Anubis. Ra would win that. Hell yeah, Mythology Guy is the god of fun, pizza, and root beer. Yeah, that's what I want. That would be amazing. Have you played any Super Mario games? Oh yeah, several. Who hasn't? Is Atlas holding the world or the Greek heaven? Neither. He's holding the sky. People keep misinterpreting that. But he is mainly, I think, just supposed to be holding the sky. Fenrir is a really disarming puppy. Don't let him eat your hand. Yeah, things could really get out of hand if we let that happen. What is Odin the god of? War and death. And god of being the All-Father. Can you tell me a fun fact about Hades or Zeus? Sure. What's something people don't know about Hades? I mean, one fun fact is that Hades is the oldest god. We kind of touched on that earlier, though. I mean, also another thing a lot of people don't know is one of Hades' symbols is the cornucopia, the horn of plenty. I'm not entirely sure why that's his symbol when Heracles is the one who went and got it, but, it's one of his symbols. Oh, another thing a lot of people don't know, Hades is also a god of minerals. That's mainly his Roman counterpart, though, Pluto. God of minerals and the things you find in the ground. So that's there's something for you. It's okay if I recommend reading Godzilla in Hell. Oh my god. I should check that out. Here's a video idea for you. Thetis finding Hephaestus. Oop, there it went. Hold on. Finding Hephaestus and being like, my child now, or something like that. I mean, okay. Could probably find a way to make that funny. Apophis or Nyx? I think... Actually, it's hard to say who would win that fight because Apophis feeds on the sun. I don't know how he would react to a deity of night. So I'm not sure, honestly. Will you react to Freshly Canal's Count Olaf versus Loki? They did Count Olaf versus Loki? What? All right, I could try to take a look at that. Rate mythological heroes based on how ugly they are. Oh my god. I don't think there's enough info on how ugly certain heroes are. The only ugly mythological hero I can think of is Zhong Kui before he became a god. Which one is cooler, Helheim or Niflheim? Oh, I'm going to say Helheim. I'll bet in Niflheim you can't even see anything because it's blizzarding all the time. Who are the most mid-tier god? Who is the most mid-tier god in terms of coolness? What a very specific question. Mid-tier? In terms of coolness? I don't know. Hermes? I guess? Do you think the god of darkness, Erebus, can defeat Kronos? No, because Kronos defeated Uranus. So Kronos has taken on a primordial before. So I think Nyx is more powerful than Uranus. Actually, she clearly is. She's old. She was actually saying she's older is not relevant. But yeah, Nyx I think is more powerful. But I don't. Yeah, Erebus never fights anybody, so there's really no way to know. Who is the most evil Greek god? I did kind of a ranking of that earlier. Can Odin beat Nick? I already answered that. Who do you think would? Man, everyone wants to know who would win, Magni or Heracles. I think Heracles would win that fight. Who is your favorite god in general? Some of my favorites are Hades, Anubis, Loki, Sun Wukong, and Kali and Zhonghui. Those are some of my favorites. What god do you want to interview the most? The Christian one. I'd have some questions for him. Ares versus Tyr. I think Ares would win that fight. Okay, human Kratos versus a Wendigo. I think Kratos would win that. Man, my poor boy Hermes getting called mid-tier. Hey, I love Hermes. I'm just trying to give an objective answer. Who would win, Ymir or Morpheus? I think Ymir would win that. Morpheus is the god of dreams. I don't think he can take down the guy who Odin and his brothers had to team up to defeat. If Nyx was your mom, what would your life be like? I imagine it would be a very dark life. What is Tyr the god of? Tyr is the god of war. I know that they have a whole race of gods of war, but Tyr is the most god of war. He's also considered, I think, a god of air at the same time. Or is it just that he can... I don't know, but he's mainly god of war. Is there a movie, show, game that you like more than the actual mythology? So you mean one that's based on mythology, and I like it more than the mythology? I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I have a video idea. Sun Wukong meets Sun Goku because Sun Wukong inspired Goku. You're absolutely right. And yeah, that's an interesting idea. It could be kind of like the whole Marvel Thor meeting Myth Thor thing. What is the least known mythology? Well, if it's the least known, how would we know? Probably some dead mythology. There's a lot of dead mythologies out there. If you could shapeshift into different animals as well as different people, how would you use those powers? To mess with people, just for fun. But in a harmless way. I wouldn't be an asshole prankster, but it would be fun. I'd probably make videos where I go, pull pranks on people. But if you're going to make a prank channel, you got to be careful not to just be an asshole. There's a ton of prank channels that are just assholes. So just do a prank where everybody's having a good time. Okay, strongest Titan versus Cthulhu. Okay, I think Cthulhu would win that because of how powerful he's supposed to be in his mythos. So I think Cthulhu could beat the Titans. Strongest Titan is Kronos, by the way. So yeah. Sun Wukong versus meeting Jin Mori. I'm sorry, I don't know who Jin Mori is. You remind me of my old teacher. He was awesome. Oh, yay! I'm happy to hear that. Yay! What is the most functional relationship out of the Greek gods? Probably Eros and Psyche, or Dionysus and his wife. Don't prank Zeus. Yeah, you probably shouldn't. Okay, the chat's really moving now. I already answered the Odin versus Nyx thing, so please stop asking it. If you could be one god, okay, as I said, I would want to be like a god of fun and having a good time. So if you're saying I have to become a Greek god that already exists, probably Dionysus. Yeah. Is Kronos the... Okay, I answered that earlier. If you could be any monster in any mythology, what would you be? I would be a Wendigo. Why do you want to eat human flesh? If I could be a monster? That's a new question. I haven't been asked that before. What monster would I want to be? Probably a dog. Maybe Cerberus. Just have fun. Why is Nyx so powerful? Because she was the second deity in Greek myth. First one was Chaos, and then came Nyx after that. So she's probably the second most powerful being in Greek myth. Who do you think would win, Heracles or Achilles? Because they're both kind of invincible. The thing about Achilles is I think he's impenetrable, but Heracles the first thing he beat was an impenetrable monster, the Nemean lion. So I kind of want to say Heracles would win that fight. Also, Achilles was defeated by a skilled archer, and Heracles is a skilled archer. He shot down the Stymphalian birds, and he shot Gurion through all 3 of his hearts. So I think Heracles would win that fight. I think he could either crush Achilles to death, or if Achilles is too skilled for that, I think he could shoot Achilles in his ankle like Paris of Troy did. Which incarnation of Vishnu would you want to be? Oh, okay. So you're giving me choices between Rama, Krishna, Narasimha, Varana. A lot of choices. Probably Krishna. He's very powerful, and he lived a good life on Earth. So yeah, maybe Krishna. If Medusa was a guy, would he be called Medusa? I love that. That would be great. How strong is Kronos? Is he comparable to Nyx? No. Kronos got beaten by Zeus, and Zeus is afraid of Nyx. Didn't Heracles choke the Nemean lion? He crushed it to death, Like, he did the same thing to Antaeus. Which is your favorite story in Greek mythology? The 12 Labors of Heracles. That's actually my favorite. What is the origin of the phoenix? Oh, I don't know, how the myth first started. I wasn't there. I think the oldest version of the phoenix is the Egyptian one, though, the Bennu bird. So that's the best answer I can give you. What book should I start reading for Slavic myth? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm sorry. I would say check if Jake Jackson or Matt Clayton have done anything on Slavic myth, because those 2 are good authors. Nice shirt. Thank you. Why don't you do videos on Hindu gods? I do. I don't know what you're talking about. I've done videos called How Kali Handles Demons, fun fact about Hiranyakashipu, Krishna's death, the 5 Pandavas, Karna's descent, and more. Go onto my channel and go into the channel search bar and search the word Hindu, and you will see several Hindu videos. I don't know why people keep saying I don't do Hindu videos. I do Hindu videos. Why do people keep saying I don't do Hindu videos? I don't get it. I do not get where that idea is coming from. I don't get it. I also am putting Hindu mythology in my card game, and I've done several art lore videos. Why do people think I never do Hindu videos? Okay. Are Odin and Tyr both gods of war in Norse myth? Yes, they are. Because Norse myth, because that's how the Aesir thing works. Like, all of the Aesir are at least partially gods of war, and Odin is more god of war, and Tyr is the most god of it's kind of weird. Norse myth works kind of differently than other mythologies. Can Heracles be considered a superhero by today's standard? Yes, and actually, because everyone says that the Greek hero stories were actually the original, basically, superhero stories. Now, it's not just Greek, though. Japan has their own superheroes, like Kintaro and Izanboshi and Momotaro. And, Norse also had some heroic stories like Sigurd. And China has got Guan Yu and Mulan and the 8 Immortals. Mythical heroes were the original superheroes. It's pretty cool. Hardest question. Every Greek god and monster, and I think you mean to say deity, versus the strongest H.P. Lovecraft deity. I think that would be Cthulhu. I don't know enough about Cthulhu to be sure, but if you're saying every deity, that includes chaos, so I think Greece would win. If you could have any Greek weapon, what would it be? It would be the Horn of Plenty. That counts. I want the Horn of Plenty. Infinite food and drink. That's what I want. Watch the Fate series. A lot of people have been saying that. I plan to. What was Ymir the god of? Ymir wasn't a god. Ymir was the first giant. So he wasn't god of anything. He's just the first being in Norse myth, the first giant. And he was evil, apparently. Or at least that's what Odin says. We don't know. Perseus versus Achilles, who would win? I think Achilles would win that one. Every god of war versus Odin. Well, then Odin would lose. You can't beat... I don't think he can beat every god of war. Who would win, Kratos or Nyx? I would like to see that fight, but my first guess is going to be Nyx. What books should I start reading on? Oh, sorry, I don't know. On Slavic myth. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Okay. What is Atlas the god of? Endurance. Atlas is the titan of endurance. Can a modern gun kill a Greek gun? Do you mean Greek god? I mean, I don't know. Only one way to find out. Go try. Go shoot a Greek god. Tell me how that works out. Would you want King Polybus as your dad? Who's King Polybus? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Maybe you'll remind me and I'll be like, oh, right. The strongest Lovecraftian deity is Azathoth, the nuclear chaos. All of reality is his dream. Oh, well, then maybe him. Like, I don't know. You seem to know this more than I do. Can you do Irish mythology videos? I have. I've done a few. In fact, I just recently did a Cuchulainn video. So, yeah, I do Irish videos. I haven't done a ton of them, but I'm doing them, as time goes. Achilles versus the Nemean lion, who would win? I don't think Achilles could defeat the Nemean lion. You would need super... Oh, well, actually, he might be able to spear it through the mouth. Given how skilled he is, I could see him doing that. Okay, actually, Achilles. I'm going to say Achilles would win. Shiva versus Zeus, Shiva would win. Yeah, Record of Ragnarok got that wrong, but it's fine. It's just a story. It's just an adaptation. Do you consider Hindu myth or their reality? Because I am into mythology and currently studying Hinduism. Everyone has a different opinion on that. Look, technically all religion can be counted as mythology. People have asked me to explain the difference between religion and mythology, and it's so goddamn complicated, you guys. I've actually tried to find a good way to explain it, but I can't find a good way to explain it. Have you read Beowulf? Yes, I have. I love that story. Have you ever done any Russian mythology vids? Yeah, I've done a few Slavic ones. I did a Baba Yaga vid, a Perrin vid, and a Marzana vid. Woo, there goes the chat. Can you do Spanish mythology? I don't know it at all, but when I learn it, sure. Does France have their own mythology? I've heard they do. I don't know for sure. Jormungandr versus Apophis. I'm going to say Apophis would win that because Jormungandr can fit all the way around the earth, which is amazing, but Apophis can swallow the sun, which we all know is way bigger than the earth. So Apophis can swallow that. Jormungandr doesn't have a chance. Apophis would swallow the earth with Jormungandr around it. So yeah. Shelf tour when... Oh, you want me to show off my shelves? I did that in a video called Mythology Guy Studio Tour. So you can check that out. Thoughts on Muslim mythology? I don't... That's a really slippery slope, man. Like... I don't know it well enough, really, and I'd rather not make assumptions about it. Have you done Persian mythology? Yes, I did a video about Angra Mayu a while back. Nemean lion versus Cerberus? I think Cerberus would win that. Cerberus is way bigger and could crush the Nemean lion. Thoughts on the Magnus Chase books? I loved the first one. And the second one I really enjoyed, but not as much. And the third one, again, I felt like it went a little down as it went on. But I still liked it overall. First one was the best, in my opinion. How long have you been studying mythology? Since I learned how to read. Like, one of the first books I ever read was a mythology book. My mom would read me the books when I was like 3-4 years old. So that's how long. Maui versus Heracles. Now, that's a good question. They both threatened the sun. Heracles aimed his bow at the sun and threatened to shoot it once. Maui lassoed it, pulled it down, and beat the crap out of it. It's hard to say. They're both like... Oh, God. Maybe Maui. Maui beat up the sun. I don't think Heracles could have done that. Which Greek god would you want to hang out with the most? Either Hermes or Dionysus. What would be or Hestia, but I would want to date Hestia. That would be the thing. What would be the funniest thing a child of Pan could use their powers for? Funniest thing? What would be the funniest thing? You could probably use that panic scream ability he has. Probably, just go to some like group of total assholes and just let loose the panic scream and make them all run away in fear. That'd be kind of funny, I think. Does Baldur hate Frigg in actual mythology like he did in God of War 4? No, that's made up for God of War 4. Ooh, man, there goes the chat. Shiva versus Nyx. Ooh, probably Shiva, given how incredibly powerful he is. I think the one who would go up against Shiva would be Chaos. Is Hestia powerful or not? Because she is an elder goddess, right? Okay, there's no such thing as an elder god or an elder goddess in Greek mythology. Like, you're just either a god or a titan or a primordial or a minor god. There's no elder gods. Hestia, if she is powerful, she doesn't use her power for anything, really. She's goddess of hearth and home, and she's just wholesome. She just wants to make a good home. Can you do a video on Shango, the Yoruba god of thunder? Yeah, I can do that in the future. Imagine the Nemean lion had Medusa's snake hair. Holy crap. Can you talk about Tsukuyomi's blades? Some people have been requesting I do a series on mythological weapons. So if I do, then yeah, probably will do that. Not only Chaos, Vishnu can go up against Shiva. Yeah, he can. Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva are, the three big powerhouses in Hindu myth. But I think Shiva would win the fight overall. Shiva versus Vishnu would be a good fight. Yeah, I think so. Oh, hey! Thank you so much, bruh, for the $5 donation. That's so nice. Wow. I'm writing a deity right now. Takes the form of a white deer with glowing antlers and eyes. He is basically the god of life, future, and fate. Opinion? I love it. So you saying it's a white deer with glowing antlers and eyes, god of life, future, and fate. I think that's really cool. It reminds me a little bit of the sacred doe of Artemis, which is a glowing silver doe. This is, I like more gods that aren't just people looking. I like a god that is an animal. Like in Aztec mythology, the god Zolotl. Like, I think that's a really cool idea. Go for it. Yeah. Okay. What's your opinion on the Old Testament? Well, I believe in that stuff, and it's pretty rough. I want to write a book about Athena. What do I need to know about Athena's character in mythology? So an important thing to remember is Athena is not perfect. She is flawed. She does get jealous and angry if people challenge her or compare themselves to her, like she did with Arachne and with Medusa. A lot of people just say Athena's perfect. Athena's never done anything wrong. No, Athena has done things. And she's not perfect. Okay? And even if you can make the argument that the things she did were justified, she still did them. And, so that's one thing that I think people shouldn't forget about. Hey, Mythology Guy. Hey to you too, Husk the Vessel. I love this chat. I'm glad you do, Captain Jack Sparrow. Favorite dragon legend? Ooh, I think the Fafnir story is really cool. You should check out the Fafnir story. What do you think of the Norse gods in Assassin's Creed Valhalla? I haven't played that yet because fuck Ubisoft for what they did with that game, honestly. I haven't played it yet. Can you do a video on Helios? Oh, I did a video called Who Moves the Sun. Helios was in that. But yeah, I can probably do some more in the future. Gods are basically aliens. That's a funny idea. If they ever got in a fight, who would win, Shiva or Vishnu? I think Shiva would win that one. I heard Vishnu is actually pretty powerful. Yeah, Vishnu is a powerhouse, but Shiva is like the end all be all. Hello, Andrew. Also, hail King Andrew. Get the cult. Oh my god. You have been invited to join the cult of Dionysus. Do you join? Look, I want to hang out with Dionysus. I don't want to be in any cults. So the answer to that would be no. Norse elves riding... Imagine Norse elves riding centaurs into battle. That would be amazing. Can't stay for long, but have a great day. Well, thank you so much for joining. Sun Wukong versus Shiva. Oh, Shiva would win that. Sun Wukong is really powerful, but Shiva's on a whole nother level, man. Odin versus Shiva. Shiva again, I would say. How much do you know about Japanese mythology? Now, there is so much Japanese mythology. I have a basic knowledge of their myths, their creation myths. I know Izanagi and Izanami's story, and I know Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo's stories. I know the basic kami stories. I know the stories of their heroes, and I know about several of their yokai. So I think I have a good amount of knowledge on Japanese myth. I don't know everything, obviously, and Japanese myth has thousands of yokai, so I don't think anybody knows about all of them. Opinion on Hellblade. I haven't seen Hellblade yet. Let me correct you. Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma are the Trinity. These three can't be defeated. Well, yeah, that's why I was kind of saying. But I think if they fought each other, then... To do Yahweh versus Shiva. Are you talking about my god? Well, I'm biased. I would have to go with my god. Who would win, Tiresias or Medusa? Oh, yeah, because Tiresias is blind. In that case, yeah, I'm going with Tiresias. I think he would win that. Tiresias literally beat a couple of snakes to death on the road, so he would beat Medusa's snakes to death. That would be hilarious, actually. Maybe I should do a video about that. Can I cuss? Try not to. It's nice if you can avoid doing that. Mjolnir or Zeus's lightning bolt? Which is the greatest weapon? I think Mjolnir is more powerful, given how difficult it is to even just lift that thing. So my guess is Mjolnir is more powerful. Predictions on the next God of War? I think we're gonna maybe see the origins of... I think we're going to see Fenrir in the next God of War. Maybe. Possibly. Something. I really don't know what to expect with the next God of War overall. It's really hard. Can you give us a fun fact about Tsukuyomi? Okay, yeah. Tsukuyomi once killed another god, the goddess of food, because he went to her place for a feast, and it was the most wonderful feast he had ever had. And he was like, how did you make it? How did you make this amazing bread? And she showed him. The way she made the bread was she turned into a field and she puked up the bread. And the way she made the fish was she turned into an ocean and she puked up the fish. And the way she made the game was she turned into a forest and she puked up the wild game. And Tsukuyomi was so disgusted that he decapitated her on the spot. Tsukuyomi's kind of a dick. I mean, I get being grossed out, but they're a bit of an extreme reaction, man. Hachiman versus Amaterasu. That would be pretty cool. I don't know who would win. I think Amaterasu has more raw power, but Hachiman has more skill, so it's hard to say. Aztec Serpent versus Zeus. I assume you're talking about Quetzalcoatl. I think Zeus would win that fight. Jesus would never fight Yahweh. Okay. Can you do a vid on how Amphitrite and Poseidon got together? Yeah, I can do that. Mjolnir versus Fenrir. I think Mjolnir wins. What is Zeus's zodiac sign? I don't know. I don't know when he was born. Like what month? I don't know what month Zeus was born in. Who is Chaos? Chaos is the first being in Greek mythology, literal primordial being of chaos. You probably have, but in case you haven't, I'd like to know, have you played Uno Phoenix's Quest? Are you talking about Immortals Phoenix Rising? Because if you're talking about that, we're currently streaming that every Wednesday on Zagard's channel. So that's how you can find out what we think of that. How powerful is Izanagi? What's he the god of? He's god of creation, and his power level isn't really set, but he was powerful enough to spend years traveling through the underworld, killing any monster he came across. And he's, I believe, the most powerful of the Japanese gods. I just watched Record of Ragnarok. What did you think of the show? I did a whole video about it. You can check that out. Okay, I already answered that. Who would win? Who would win, you or these who would win questions? Oh my god. Loki versus the Bastards of Earth? I don't know what exactly you're asking. Hypothetically, okay, obviously the god would win. Okay, like, does that happy now? Jesus versus okay, like, enough with the Jesus stuff. I don't know. Jesus doesn't fight anybody. Okay. We need more mythological creatures videos. Are there any left? Yeah, that's a series. I do that whenever I can. I try to do maybe one a week or one every 2 weeks or something. Gotta go, man. You're the cutest YouTuber I came across. Aw, thank you. That's nice. Trishula or Poseidon's trident? Which is the greater weapon? That's a good question. I'm gonna say the Trishula, because if we're talking specifically about Shiva's Trishula, because Shiva, we've seen images of Shiva being big enough to dance on top of the earth, like as a little ball. And so if the Trishula is big enough for him to hold, I think that would crush Poseidon and his trident. So yeah, that's what I would go with. Shiva's trident versus Thor's hammer, same answer as before. Maui versus Mwindo. I'm sorry, I don't know Mwindo well enough to answer that. Gonna test your Norse mythology. Whoa, hold on. Gonna test your Norse mythology knowledge. What are the two Eddas called? The Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda. That a good enough answer for you? Do you play Smite? I answered that earlier. Which is your favorite person? Okay, I answered that. I'll just say quickly, Last Olympian. Last Olympian is my favorite. Who would win, God of the Sun Helios or God of the Moon Selene? I don't. I would say Helios, and the reason why is because of science. The sun is like 100 times the size of the moon and so much more powerful. So I'm just going to say Helios for that reason. Uno Phoenix's Quest is a DLC for Uno that I believe is based off Immortals. I did not know that was a thing. All right, well, interesting idea. I answered your question about the two Eddas, Poetic Edda and Prose Edda. God of War 3 Kratos versus God of War 4 Kratos. If God of War 3 Kratos has all his gear from God of War 3, then he'd probably win. Because God of War 4 Kratos only has two things. Beowulf versus Heracles. I think Heracles would win that. Beowulf versus Kratos. I think Kratos would win that. Biological son of Shiva. Is there one? I don't know. I know Shiva has avatars. What god or deity are you most afraid of? The Christian one, because I believe in that one. What exactly is your background? Did you study this stuff like in college, or do you just love this stuff and are self-taught? I just love this stuff and I'm self-taught, basically. Holy crap! Thank you, Knock, for the $50 donation. Wow. Gotta go. You know the Edda's happy Norwegian noises. Oh, well, yay. Well, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for that. That's huge. Like, thank you very much. Like Osmond Knock, that's very, very nice of you. Very nice. Damn. Wow. It's a big donation, Osmond. Do you think that there will be an Olympian or a Spartan or in the next God of War? Yeah, I do. And I hope they do. That would be amazing. Do you think the Hades game would fit in actual Greek mythology? The Hades game is the most accurate mythology game I've ever seen. Now, granted, the main story of it is made up, but all of the background and stuff is very well rooted in actual Greek myths. So, yeah, I could see that fitting in. This is an awesome stream. Yay! Okay, Greek monsters versus all the Norse monsters. I think the Norse monsters would win that. Because Norse monsters have like Jormungandr and Fenrir. Norse have a lot more giant monsters than I think Greece does. Well, actually, Greece also does, but Norse monsters are more giant, you know? Why do people fight for religion? People always want to fight. They're always going to want to fight over something, and religion is a great excuse to use. Like, I personally believe in Catholicism. I believe that there is a God. I believe that there is a Jesus. And then I believe that people who wanted to do crappy things decided, hey, I'm going to use this thing that people believe in to manipulate them. And that sucks. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, Afshan Khalid. Yay, happy birthday to you. Is there anybody more beautiful than Aphrodite? Not in Greek myth, there isn't. Unless you count Helen of Troy, she could be, I guess. But she's the most beautiful human, not the most beautiful god. Would Greek gods help modern humans become interstellar? I don't think so. Greek gods didn't even want modern humans to have fire. If there was someone more beautiful than Aphrodite, she would, boom, that's what she would do. Aphrodite is a jealous bitch. I mean, one time when a woman told her daughter, you're more beautiful than Aphrodite is, Aphrodite punished that daughter by making her want to bang her own father, which was, that's why Aphrodite's kind of evil. I want to drink like Thor right now. Please don't. You will die. Heracles versus Fenrir. Okay, I think Fenrir would take that one because Fenrir defeated Odin. Favorite mythology type? Do you mean like what's my favorite Greek, Egyptian? Because my favorite's Greek. My second favorite is Japanese. Do you think Heracles could pick up Thor's hammer? I think if anyone in Greek mythology could, it would be Heracles. Yeah. I already answered the Ares versus Tyr question. Do you think we can find more information from the Norse mythology from Slavic mythology, as Slavic mythology does copy certain elements from Norse myths? Actually, yes, I think that's a very interesting idea because they clearly influenced each other. I think that one way to learn about one would be to study the other. That could work. Besides Sun Wukong, what god would Goku be out of all the mythologies? So besides Sun Wukong, I think he... Goku is so unique. It's hard to compare him to a god. Maybe Coyote from Native American or something? I don't know. Would Aphrodite and Zeus make a good couple? I do think so. They won't even bother. I think Aphrodite and Zeus, the reason they don't get together is because they don't date other cheaters. So I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say. Are deities from Norse mythology part giants? Technically, yes, because they're descended from Ymir. So yeah, technically they are. What are the powers of Loki's kids? Well, all of Loki's kids are completely different from each other, so there's really not one answer to that. Like Fenrir, Jormungandr, Sleipnir, Hel, and Vali, not Vali, but and his human kids are all a couple of his kids have the ability to shapeshift, I believe. So yeah, there's that, like shapeshifting. Heracles could lift the heavens like Alice. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, yeah, if any Greek god could lift the hammer, I think it could be Heracles. Have you watched Jujutsu Kaisen? No, not yet. Beerus versus Thor. Beerus is based on Shiva, so I think Beerus would win that fight. What's the difference between Heracles and Hercules? One is Roman and one is Greek. There's your difference. I'd love to see the gears turning in our boy's head when someone asks an interesting question. Cool. I'm glad you like that. Gungnir or the Spear of Longinus? Which is the greater weapon? Oh, I don't know enough about the Spear of Longinus. I know Gungnir well, though. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Out of all the 12 Olympians, who is the strongest? Zeus. It's said multiple times. There are two different versions of Zeus. One is of Zeus's power level. One says that he alone is stronger than all the other gods put together, and another says he's just the strongest, and the only ones who might be able to rival him are Poseidon or Hades. But he is the most powerful. Who would win in a prank war, Loki or Hermes? I think Loki would win that because Loki is way more over the top with his mischief than Hermes is. Which is more dangerous, Mjolnir or the golden apple of Eris? Eris, that apple is literally only exists to create chaos, so I'll go with that one. This was my first live stream that I have watched on this channel, and I have to say that I had a great time here. Thank you for answering many of my questions. Good night to everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That's really sweet. Thank you. If there was someone more beautiful than Aphrodite, two things would happen. Either killed by Aphrodite or along came Zeus. You know what? Both, I think, would happen. I love your videos. Thank you so much, Afshan. How many kids does Odin have? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Odin is the All-Father. We're all his kids inside. Yeah, sorry, I don't know the exact answer to that. It's like when people ask how many kids does Zeus have. Kratos versus Rama versus Odin. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I don't think Rama was as powerful as Krishna was, so I don't think Rama was Vishnu's most powerful avatar. Now, I think Kratos can beat... I'm just going to go with Kratos. I think Kratos would win. Yeah. Do you think Shaggy can beat all the gods? Well, if he's at, like, you know, maybe 20% power. I got that meme. Thinking of writing a story where Ares rebels against the gods. My Ares gains twice as much power when there is conflict. This is the middle of the Battle of Troy. So could you give me tips? Oh, that's actually a great time for Ares to rebel because it's when the gods are fighting amongst each other. So actually, this is a good idea. You could say that the conflict, that the gods are having between each other is making Ares more and more and more powerful. So that's a good way to handle it. Yeah. You know, if Ares wants to rebel against the gods, a cool idea might be if you could find a way for him to gather up certain enemies of the gods, like maybe Ixion and Sisyphus and Medea. You know, that would be kind of a cool idea. Atlas versus Thor. Atlas is holding up the sky. Thor will just go beat him up while he's holding it. Okay, I'm kidding. I know what you actually want to know. I think Thor would win, though. Seriously. Atlas did get defeated by the Greek gods, let's not forget. And I personally think the Norse gods could beat the Greek gods. If you could create any monster, what would you have it be and what powers would it have? Oh, I've told you before that I want to be like a god of fun and people having a good time. One of my favorite things to do ever is to make someone laugh when they're upset. Like, that is probably my favorite thing to do in general. It's why I became a comedian. I always loved when a friend of mine was really sad and I could make them laugh and they'd be less sad after that. So I would probably create a mythical creature that's like a little puppy that can like duplicate itself or something and runs up to someone who's upset and like jumps onto their lap and duplicates into more puppies and they all start like licking, you know, because then no one is upset when a bunch of puppies are loving them. That would be, I know that's corny as fuck, but that's legit the kind of creature I would want to create. I love your videos. Also, who would win, the Egyptian and Greek gods versus Aztec and Norse? I think Aztec and Norse might win that. Aw, wholesome moments with Andrew. Aw, thank you. In a battle of wits, who would win, Odin or Mimir? Ooh, yeah, that would be a battle of wits for the ages. Those are like the two wisest gods in Norse myth. But I'm going to say it might come down to Mimir, because Odin needed to gain knowledge from the Well of Erd, whereas Mimir just lives there. So I'm going to say Mimir. What did Jupiter send Prometheus and his brother Epimetheus to punish them after they stole the fire from heaven? Pandora. Well, he sent Prometheus. He didn't. He sent Prometheus to a mountain to have his liver eaten, and he sent Pandora to Epimetheus. Rama was actually the equivalent of Krishna, so your answer is still the same or no? Oh, he was equivalent in power? Oh, I always thought Krishna was more powerful. I think they've established that Krishna has like all the power of Vishnu. In that case, Rama might win. Yeah, maybe Rama. You're very kind-hearted. Thank you. If Thor was your father, what would your life be like? My life would be very different. I imagine I'd be a bulky, muscular, tough guy, and things would have gone way different. Old Australian myths versus Native American myths. Ooh, that would be awesome. They both have such cool, like, creatures. I think Australian has some of the crazier creatures, so maybe Australian. The obsidian blade or Zeus's lightning bolt? Which is greater? I think Zeus's lightning bolt might be the better one there. Are the Elysian fields more interesting than Valhalla? I'm going to say no, because, woo, there goes my chair. I think Valhalla is a lot more fun. Everyone's drinking and bashing and fighting each other. That sounds like a lot more fun. I picture Elysium more like just basically heaven, which is cool, but, I think Valhalla is more interesting. Have you watched Netflix's Ragnarok? Not yet. It's on my list of things to watch and make videos about. Where do you get all this knowledge of different mythologies? I'm trying to look for stories on different mythological pantheons, but not much luck. Well, in the Amazon link, you can see some of the books I've read. But yeah, books and internet, mainly just a lot of books and internet. Samson from the Bible versus Heracles. Ooh, that's an interest. That would be an interesting fight. But Samson's got that hair weakness, if Heracles cuts his hair at any point, but Heracles would have to know that. Yeah, Heracles could probably rip the hair out of Samson's head. Oh God, that's a gross thought. I'm still gonna give it to Heracles. I'm glad I met you. Thank you for your videos. Thank you so much, man. That's so nice to hear. In terms of power, what god is most comparable to Goku? Obviously, that would be Sun Wukong. Just to give you a gauge, Goku's power at the moment, he shook an infinite void by merely existing. Okay, if we're talking that Goku, then it would be Shiva, probably. Because Shiva, also, Lord Beerus is based on him, and that's the power level Goku's trying to meet right now, isn't it? I've seen Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, but I haven't watched Dragon Ball Super yet. The Golden Apple of Eris or Pandora's Box? Oh, Pandora's Box, because that has literally all the evils inside it. I heard there was a god of odor and god of poop, and I forgot his name. Oh, yeah. I forgot his name, too. What was his name? I had his... Fudge! But yes, there is a god of poop and odor in Greek mythology. Sean Cummings, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Just thought I'd donate. Thank you. I really appreciate that. But yes, there is a god of poop and odor in Greek mythology. It's pretty funny. What's the saddest story of a god? Saddest story. Stories of gods usually probably Hera. You could say Hera got assaulted and forced into a marriage by Zeus, and she's still in it. So you could say that's one of the sadder stories, because usually when the gods have sad stories, it still ends happily for them because they're still gods and they can still do cool stuff. But Hera's in this never-ending marriage she can't stand. So you could say that's one of the saddest stories. What's your favorite holiday? Halloween. Fuck yeah. I love Halloween. Have you played Warframe? One of the Warframes is based on Sun Wukong. Oh, is it? Oh, that's an interesting thing then. The god of poop is Sterculius. All right, cool. You fippin' manga spoiler. What manga did I spoil? Oh, did I spoil Dragon Ball? I'm sorry. Would you make a reaction video to Netflix's Ragnarok? I'd make a video talking about it for sure. Are the Valkyries waifu material? Valkyries are kind of warriors first, so it's hard to say if they're waifu material. Would you consider covering Finnish mythology? Yes, I've had people request it, and it is something I do plan to research. Helen of Troy was hatched from an egg laid by her mother Leda after pairing with a swan. Who was her father? Who do you think was her father? Okay, if the father was a swan, who do you think? I did a video about this called Zeus Pickup Technique. Hey, thank you so much for the $5 donation, Captain Omni. That's super nice of you. Do you think that Marvel's usage of Norse gods since the 1960s is responsible for the kind of renaissance the Norse myths are enjoying? Yes, I think Marvel's usage of Norse gods did inspire more people to get interested in Norse gods. And I actually believe that the MCU's rise has highly contributed to the new popularity of Norse gods nowadays. Like, I really do believe that. And I was happy about that, like, because it was all about Greek gods before that, and now it seems like Norse gods are getting more and more popular, and I'm happy about that, and I'm really hoping that'll raise awareness of other mythologies too. What if the Norse gods were in Hogwarts? That'd be the end of Hogwarts, man. Loki versus humans? Well, I think Loki would win that. If you could kill any god without any consequence, who would it be and why? Well, kill any god without any consequence, who would it be and why? Okay, This actually makes me a little sad because he's my favorite Norse god, but I would probably kill Loki because then there would be no Ragnarok. You know? So there, save lives. There you go. She's called Artemis by the Greeks, the goddess of the hunt. How is this goddess referred to by the Romans? Well, she's still goddess of the hunt, and fuck, what's her Roman name? Let's see. Zeus is Jupiter. Hephaestus is Vulcan. Dionysus is Bacchus. Athena is Minerva. Hera is Juno. Which one is Artemis? Diana, right? Artemis's Roman name is Diana, right? Oh, yeah, there. Divine Cheeseburger said Diana. All right. All right, there goes the chat. Loki versus a politician at lying. Who wins? I think Loki would win because people would believe Loki. Do you think Lobo would be a bigger problem to the Greek gods or the Norse gods? I don't think he'd be a huge problem to either because I think they could just take him out pretty easily. I love Lobo, though. I want to see Lobo in a DC movie so bad. He's one of my favorite DC characters. Who is the most powerful god in all mythologies? The Christian one. He's omnipotent and omniscient. You can't beat him. Yes, it was Diana. Yeah. If all continents united their gods and had them fight, which continent would win? You should check out a series called God is Dead. I hear they do that in that series. I personally, like I said, I still think the Christian god would win that one. Whoa, killing your favorite Norse god for the greater good, vaguely reminiscent of Brutus Caesar. Oh, man, I'm Brutus. No. Whose life was sadder, Sita or Hera? That's a tough question. I mean, I feel like that's pretty case by case. Maybe Caesar. I'm not sure. Who would win, Sun Wukong or Zeus? That's actually a tough one because Sun Wukong has more different powers than Zeus does. You know what? Sun Wukong is so tricky and crafty. I'll bet that if he could beat Zeus, I'll bet he could outsmart him because Zeus would shoot his thunder at him, and Sun Wukong would take his staff and root the thunder to the ground. And then I think he could. Yeah, I think Sun Wukong could win. I think he could win. If you were ever forced to go into a flighting with Loki, what would you say? Oh my god. I don't think I could beat Loki in a flighting. For those of you who don't know, flighting is basically the original rap battle, a battle of insults. I would probably throw shade at Loki for some of the funny things he's done in mythology. I don't know, but he probably wouldn't be embarrassed by any of it. I don't know what I'd do. I think I'd lose. I would lose that fighting. Thank you so much for another donation, Captain Omni. $10. Wow. Thanks, guys. This is really humbling. Why do you think Celtic mythology, specifically Irish mythology, is so underutilized from a pantheon perspective? As in, why are there no comic universes that use Celtic mythology as their mythology? You know, that's a very good question. I think it should be used more because Celtic mythology is really cool. I mean, I don't know. You would think, honestly, like, it's amazing because Celtic mythology has influenced so much. Like the Arthurian legends are Celtic mythology. But you're talking specifically Irish, so like the Dagda and the Morrigan and Cuchulainn and stuff. I really don't know. I really am not sure why that mythology isn't more utilized. Why it wasn't. You know, I think part of the reason might be it happened a little later than other mythologies. You know, yeah, that's probably the reason. Celtic mythology is one of the younger mythologies, I believe, out of like Greek, Egyptian, and I don't think it's younger than Norse. But the reason Norse is more popular is because the Norse Vikings literally went everywhere. They went all over the world, so it's more widespread as a result of that. But I mean, we can only hope that Celtic mythology will get the recognition it deserves because it really does. It's really cool. Celtic mythology is really cool. And you know, you can make the argument witches are really popular, and that's Celtic mythology, and banshees. So there are elements of it that are at least popular. Who would win, Sun Wukong or Loki? Good question. I think Sun Wukong would win that because Sun Wukong, I do believe, is more powerful than Loki and just as crafty, tricky. Yeah. If you could make one of the Olympian women laugh, who would it be? Hera. I think Hera could really use it. Poor girl. Yeah. I would want to make Hera laugh. But I would also want to make Hestia laugh because I'm trying to date her, you know? But I think Hera needs it more, so I would want to make Hera laugh. Who would it be and how? Okay, how would I make Hera laugh? Ooh, that's hard. I mean, I would probably joke about Zeus, but not about his infidelity, because she would be furious at that. I would just make jokes about Zeus in general and how silly he is and how his plans backfire. I'm sure she could have a good laugh at that. Gotta love when all these who would win questions can be answered by the card game. You know, good point. Do Christians, Jews, and Muslims believe in the same God? I think they do, honestly. I know Christians and Jews do. We believe in the same God. I don't know about the Muslim God, though. I think he might be the same God. Why do they never seem to refer to Norse gods as a pantheon? Only as a mythology. I hear people refer to it as a pantheon. I do. So, yeah, that's, I guess, my answer to that. Hades is so nice, feel bad for him. Yeah, but it's easy to demonize Hades, and at least it's led to some cool stuff. Like God of War 3 Hades isn't accurate, but it's awesome, and the Disney Hades isn't accurate, but he's awesome, so at least there's that. Have you heard about the Dullahan from Celtic mythology? Yeah, the Headless Horseman. Yeah, it's awesome. Won't Zeus obliterate because he might think you're flirting with Hera? You know, I would tell him, like, dude, I'm just trying to make your wife laugh, and if he kills me, he kills me. What can I do? Then I get to hang out with Hades, you know? Silver lining. Beauty contest, Freya versus Aphrodite. They're both goddesses of beauty. I think Freya would let Aphrodite win because Freya is also very honorable, and she wouldn't want Aphrodite to go around murdering all the judges. That's what I think would happen. The only guy in Celtic myth I know is Cuchulainn. Oh yeah, Cuchulainn's a good guy to know. He's one of the biggest characters in Celtic myth. Who do you think would win in a fight, Percy Jackson or Wonder Woman? Whew. Wonder Woman, I think. I think Wonder Woman has, like, Percy Jackson has sort of battled gods, but I don't think he could ever actually defeat one in a one-on-one fight. Wonder Woman, however, can. So, like, yeah. Hraesvelgir versus Cerberus, Battle of the Underworld Creatures. Who would win? I'm surprised he didn't have a Garm versus Cerberus. I'm gonna go with Cerberus. I think Cerberus would win that fight. Hey, how are you? I'm happy right now because I'm with all of you guys, and you guys are awesome. Honestly, this is always something I really enjoy doing, these Q&As. We are coming up on 2 hours, and that is where I'm gonna start to end it. So just so you guys know. I am the cheesiest god of cheese. Good for you, man. Bare hand Thor versus bare hand Hercules. Ooh. So Thor doesn't have his gloves. In that case, I think Heracles would win. Remember that one time Zeus was scared of one goddess, Hera? What? That's not me. No, it's another. Nyx, I shall form alliances with Nyx and destroy my husband. Yeah, that would be a good thing for Hera to do. What is the oldest mythology? I think the oldest one would be Egyptian, because the Egyptian is the oldest civilization. But you know, from some studies, people think that cave people had mythology, so that would have to be it. Hiccups. Can you speak any languages related to it? No, I can't speak anything. If I could learn one, I would want to learn hieroglyphs, though. That would be awesome to know. And I would write to my friends in hieroglyph. That would be hilarious. Hello to you too, Finn the Boss. If you could rewrite a story in mythology, which would it be and why? Ooh, there are a lot of heroes whose endings I would change. Theseus has a pretty sad ending. Jason has a pretty sad ending. Oedipus, holy crap. I'd probably change the ending to Jason's story. I feel like he's the one who most needs, like, and deserves a different ending. Kratos in the world of Percy Jackson. Okay, what about him? Have you ever played Totally Accurate Battle Simulator? Yes, I love that game. Lots of love and support from Jerusalem and Israel. Oh, thank you so much. Kratos versus Thor, who would win? We're going to find out in the God of War series. Bye, guys. This has been the most fun stream yet, but I have to go. I love you all, and I love you, Mythology Guy. Thank you so much, Kiwi Shoto. That's so nice. I just figured out Zeus's zodiac sign is Leo, Athena's zodiac sign is Gemini, and Aphrodite is Libra. Oh, what's your source on that? What got you interested into mythology? My mom would read me from Dowleri's Greek myths when I was a little kid. So that's how. How weaker does Thor get without his gloves? Now, I believe the myth says that Thor's gloves and belt literally double his power. So he'd be at half strength without them. So that's your answer. Which day of the week is derived from Thor? That would be Thursday. Thor's Day. That's how it began. Shouldn't the oldest civilization be Mesopotamian? Oh, you're right, actually. It might be Mesopotamian. And therefore their mythology, doesn't the Epic of Gilgamesh count? Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. I can't believe I forgot about that. Yes, the Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest epic we have, so it might be Mesopotamian. You might be absolutely right. Yes. What's your favorite place you've traveled and why? I mean, this isn't myth related, but the answer is probably Florida because I like theme parks. Also, another one of my favorites is Scotland, though. I love Scotland. Scotland is so much fun, especially during their Edinburgh Comedy Festival. I love that shit. But yeah, Florida, Scotland, those are a couple of my favorites. I also like Italy. I love your Greek mythology. I assume you're talking about my videos. Thank you. Really glad to hear about that. I put work into those, so I'm glad you guys like them. Which do you think is better and who would win in a fight? Percy Jackson or Harry Potter? That fight would be so, like, these two are nothing alike. Like one guy is using a sword and water, and the other guy's using literal magic spells. I don't know, man. Maybe Percy, because Harry has to take the time to say his spells, whereas Percy can just... Maybe Percy. I love your skits and info vids. Thank you so much, dude, man, Joey. Why don't you play Immortals Phoenix? It's a Greek mythology game. I do, every single Wednesday at twitch.tv/Zaggard. Go over there, and you will see us playing it. What do you think of the Percy Jackson series? And it's time to go to bed for me. Well, good night to you, sir, and it's my favorite book series of all time. Have you seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? No, I have not. Ooh, he cussed. I did? When? All right, well, I'll just take your word for it. I would want to be God of creation and destruction. Man, you just want to have all the power, don't you? Man, Captain Omni back at it again with another donation. Last donation today. Totally fair, man. You've made 3 donations. If you had to adapt a god as a superhero from either Celtic, Native American, or Hawaiian mythology, who would you choose? Okay, well, keep in mind, this answer is going to be a little biased. It's because I know Celtic the best, and I am Celtic. I have Irish-Scottish heritage, so it would be Celtic. I would probably adapt Lou of the Long Arm or the Dagda. You know, those are 2 of the gods who I think would work best as superheroes. Morrigan is really cool, but I don't think she'd want to be a superhero. I think she'd want to do things a little differently. Like, I'd probably make the villain Iran or something. That would be pretty cool. Or a Balor of the Evil Eye. That would also be really cool. Okay, who wins in a fight? Krampus versus a Wendigo. I think Krampus. He's a higher being, so I think he would win. Do you believe there's a way to connect all mythology into one story or universe? I mean, it would be really hard because of all the creation myths and first being myths and stuff like that. I am the goddess of stupidity. Good for you. Guy, don't tell my mom, but I'm staying up late. I just can't get enough of this stream. Aw, thank you. Guys, it's been 2 hours, so I'm going to have to wrap up. So I'm going to blast through the chat for a little bit, and then I'm gonna end things. Sephiroth versus Heracles. In Kingdom Hearts, Sephiroth is a more difficult boss battle than Hercules, so I'm going to go with Sephiroth. In God of War 4, they called the son of Kratos that. What does that mean? I mean, it obviously means that, he's going to play a key part in Ragnarok. They've already kind of done that with Baldur. Who would win in a 3-way fight? Percy Jackson, Aquaman, or Namor the Submariner? Oh my god. Probably Aquaman because he has Poseidon's trident. Do you know much about Welsh mythology? A little bit. It ties into Celtic mythology, doesn't it? Celtic myself here, Irish with some Scottish, bit of Swedish. Good for you, man. What? No, I am enjoying this. I'm glad you are, man, but it's been 2 hours. Thanks for answering all my questions. Take care and enjoy your day. Thank you so much, Christopher. Goodbye, Mr. Myth. Looking forward to see your videos. Love you, man. Thank you so much, Frode. Hey, man, can you play the Resident Evil series? I'm considering it, but only if any of it is rooted in mythology. Athena versus Thoth in a battle of wits. Who would win? I think Thoth would probably win that one, honestly. I think Thoth has more wisdom than Athena, in my personal opinion. In your opinion, what is the worst demigod? Probably King Minos. He is actually a demigod, and he's an asshole. Teletubbies versus Barney. I think the Teletubbies would traumatize Barney. Teletraumatize. Why wrap it up? I'm having too much fun. I'm sorry, guys, but it's been a while and I'm tired and I got to get to other things. Who would win, Zeus, Odin, or God? Okay, if you're talking about Christian God, I think Christian God would win that. See ya. Thank you so much, Captain Omni, for all your amazing donations. Bye. Bye to you two, Spoots. Which is more powerful, Mayan or Aztec? I personally think Aztec is more powerful. Hey, Percy with Poseidon's trident or Aquaman? I think that one would go to Percy since he's literally the son of Poseidon. If you could go to any mythology afterlife, which would you go to and why? Heaven, because I can have whatever I want. That was short but fun for me. Good night. I'm glad you had fun. Have you ever gotten into Slavic mythology? Yes, a little bit. I've done a few videos on it. Good night, man. Thank you for answering my questions. You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining here. All right, man. Hope your days are long and full of joy. Thank you so much, Meme Guy. Do you know Native American mythology? I'm part Native American. Yes, I know some of it, and I've done a couple videos on it. You should check them out. different Norse mythology days. What's the worst movie you've ever watched? Oh, one of the worst movies I've ever seen is Straight to Hell. Another terrible movie is the Black Christmas 2019 remake. That is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. Bye. Big fan of yours. Love you. Bye. Thank you so much, Noberto. That's so nice. If Artemis ever had a kid, would they be more powerful than her hunters? If she had a boy, would she kill him? I don't think she would kill him, but she'd be ashamed. And yes, I do think it would be more powerful than her hunters. And that would make a really interesting book, honestly. What is... I did the... Who's your favorite Celtic god? I love the dog deck because he's so wholesome. I love that guy. But I love your vids. Keep posting. Never give up. Thank you so much. Favorite non-mythological book? I like the Aragon series a lot, so maybe it would go to those. Oh, the Gone series is amazing. So I love that series. That's probably maybe. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. It's been 2 hours and 5 minutes. Thank you guys so much. Pricolici is a werewolf, so yeah. Sorry, I was just answering another question. Do you do these live streams every month? Yes, I do. I do one every month, and I'm also live at twitch.tv/Zaggard every single Wednesday. So another place where you guys can reach me. You guys can also, if you have questions that you want me to answer that I didn't get a chance to answer here, go to the Discord and go to the channels which are for addressing me directly. The Discord should be in the description of this video. So go over to my Discord if you want to keep the conversation going, or if you want to ask me stuff I didn't get a chance to answer here, go there and address me directly. All right? Thank you guys so much for joining me. I love you guys so much. I love doing these live Q&As, but I can't keep them going forever. I haven't eaten yet today. I have to go eat some damn food. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your awesome donations. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being subscribed. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking the videos. You're wonderful, and I love you guys. Goodbye.